For tuning into my channel. I am Love of Fragrance, and on this channel I conduct recommendations regarding fragrances. I post approximately several times a week, and I would like to thank my subscribers for their subscription, and I want to thank you for your comments. But please continue to subscribe and continue to hit the notification bell so you can be notified whenever I post a video, like I stated before, several times a week, and so you can be informed of whenever I post a video. And I appreciate you watching. But today, in this particular segment, I am conducting a video in reference to surprisingly fascinating blind buys. Surprisingly fascinating. The reason they're surprising because they're classics and they are very popular fragrances, but they are lovely fragrances. They're exceptionally lovely fragrance. And the first one that I would like to introduce you to today happens to be Fleur Paris. Fleur Paris happens to be an excellent fragrance that I would say this here is a woman's fragrance. It's a woman's fragrance because of the aroma that which it projects. This here has an exceptional amount of sensuality applied to this fragrance, and the citric in here, it happens to be aligned so exquisitely divine to the point where it's undeniably, surprisingly lovely, and you will definitely love it. So I highly recommend this one to you. This fragrance right here smells just like, you might not believe it, spring rain. It smells like spring rain with a hint of vanilla attached to it, but it has a citric element to it as well, and it's exceptionally potent. In other words, this is a very affluent fragrance. When you apply it to your body, you are going to have an extensive amount of penetration and alluring scent with you for an extensive duration of time. I love this fragrance right here, and I'm sure you will too. This particular fragrance is Fleur Paris. It's designed by Jean-Marc Paris, and it's an EDP fragrance. It's probably very difficult for you to attain this fragrance on the market right now because it isn't easily distributed everywhere. I'm not going to say that it would not be attainable, but I kind of like stumbled upon this one, and I just said, oh, let me just take a chance on this right here. I didn't have an opportunity to test it or anything, and when I brought it home, I was amazingly surprised. You will be surprised as well because it's a lovely design element applied to this fragrance. So lovely because you can smell amber projected itself from this fragrance with a citric twist and a hint of vanilla. It gives you that allure of spring rain. In other words, it's very identifiable on your body. It's an exquisitely designed fragrance, and I highly recommend this one to you because I love it. This here fragrance right here is one of the fragrances that will grant you an exceptional amount of sensuality, definitely, because it has that appeal of sexuality. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful fragrance. It has the appeal, like I said, of sexuality, but it's elegant. It's eloquently appealing. It's eloquently designed in a manner where it's aromatic. In other words, it penetrates very loudly. It has a very potent aroma to it, but even though it appears to be very soft, but it has that element of femininity. It's very feminine. It's very attractive, And it's very appealing. In other words, I love this fragrance right here. I don't pull it out enough to wear it, which I should more often because of the citric amount in here. It's little, I would say, to some extent, when I say it smells like rain, you can almost classify it as being a little earthy, but not from a negative perspective. It's a very sweet element applied to it, which makes it absolutely amazing. And I'm sure you will love it. So keep your eyes out for this one because it's a surprisingly beautiful fragrance to possess. Fleur Paris has a beautiful name as well. Oh, I love it. Okay, all of my fragrances that I am going to be introducing you to today are sitting right back here in this tray. And the reason they're there is because they are classified, as I said, my surprisingly amazing blind buys. And I use these on my light dates, and so I keep them readily accessible to me. And the next one I would like to introduce you to happens to be one from the Bahamas, honey. This here's Tommy Bahamas. Isn't that a lovely container? The bottle itself is so beautifully designed. Tommy Bahamas, look at the little pearl right there. And I've smelled that Fleur Paris. It's projected itself all over my body. And when I put on too many layers of fragrances, there's always one that's a lot more potent that distinguishes itself over any of the other ones. And in this particular case, I think today it's going to be the Fleur Paris that I'm going to be rocking all day long. Yes, but this one right here, Tommy Bahamas, this here happens to be an EDP as well. And it's for her. It's for women. And it's from the Bahamas. Thomas Bahamas. Designed and originated in the Bahamas. So anyone that attain this particular fragrance are going to attain a tropical element with this. Exceptionally tropical. And here we have another somewhat earthy appeal to this particular fragrance. The earthiness to this one has a hint of jasmine and amber, of course, and it also has a hint of, feels like a little creamy, like a little bit of caramel effect applied to this one, but it's exceptionally lovely, and it has a hint of citric and fruits applied to this. So in other words, it's a little bit fruity, but it's also very exquisitely designed to the point where you will find it fascinating as well, because the fragrance in it is exceptionally fragrant. In other words, it's very, very sophisticated, but yet it still is very calming. It's luxurious to possess. Oh my God, it's such a beautiful, light, delicate, fresh, warm scent applied to this fragrance to the point where it's appealing. It's very appealing, and it's very feminine, and it's soft. To some extent, it's soft. I find it lovely and attractive and exquisitely designed to the point where I find it elementally beautiful. Yes, so I think the compositions in this particular fragrance right here gives a woman that allure of the tropical elements, a tropical vibe. It gives you the elements of being on an island in the Bahamas, just as the name indicates here, a tropical Bahamas atmosphere with this fragrance right here, because it's designed for a tropical environment. Soft, sweet, lovely, very lovely. It's almost like a fruit cocktail. It smells somewhat like a fruit cocktail. All the fruits that you can ever think of consuming in a tropical environment, you get them all right here in this one little bottle. So I highly recommend that you check out this here Tommy Bahamas, because I find it to be a surprisingly fascinating blind buy. And my next one here is going to be one that this one here is by Elizabeth Arden. Elizabeth Arden, which this here is the only fragrance I have by this. As a matter of fact, I don't have any other fragrances by any of these here designers back here, but these are classified as designer fragrances. And this one here is by Elizabeth Arden, And the name of it happens to be, ooh, I don't know. All I know is it's by Elizabeth Arden. It has no special label on it or anything. So this fragrance right here, based on my memory of the scent, I would say that it's very similar to the Fleur Paris, but let's check it out. I'm gonna have to go over here. Let's try. Look at this, bottle shaped like a triangle, and it's supposed to be easier for you to grab this here in your possession and spray the nozzle at the same time. But look how I have to hold it. It's a little awkward for me. So let's see what. Oh, here we go again. Now this here is a very mature scent. It's mature. It reminds me of my mom. It reminds me of my mom because it's strong, has that staying power and a potency attained. You will receive the potency with this particular fragrances that you would possess on a more mature individual. It has a hint of almond. Oh God, the musk is so prevalent in this fragrance. And it appears to have some jasmine as applied to it as well. In other words, it's a beautiful fragrance, and I highly recommend this one to you as well also. But you will probably never find this easily accessible to you as well, because these here are classified as classic fragrances that most individuals probably don't have any knowledge of or haven't ever seen before. And I just happened to stumble upon them, and they are definitely surprisingly amazing blind buys. It has a delicate twist to it as well. Somewhat potent, but yet still to some extent a little bit delicate. And let's try it again. I would like to say, you know what? It doesn't have any alcohol content in it, and I'm surprised because I've had a majority of these fragrances for quite some time, and they've been sitting for quite some time. And when they're sitting for an extended period of time, you have the alcoholic content that's blended in with all of the other elements, have a tendency to elevate itself. But in this one, it may have that element in it, but it has been perfected so exquisitely to the point where you smell it, but it smells as pleasantly as any of the other notes in there. In other words, it's blended appropriately. It's blended perfectly with all of the other elements where the alcohol in it smells lovely as well. It's very rejuvenating. It's very refreshing. It's very appealing. I find it to be lovely. I really do. I find this fragrance to be lovely, 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 lovely. I love it. This is a nice fragrance by Mrs. Elizabeth Arden, and I highly recommend it to you. Okay. And the next one I want to bring to you happens to be by Adrian Ventinini. Adrian Ventinini, and it's called Midnight Blossom. Honey, you know, I think I brought this one to you before, and when I brought it to you, I highly explained to you how much I love this container. Oh my God, it looked like almost like Terry Mugler's Alien, designed for the content, the bottle itself. Isn't it beautiful? It's almost like Terry Mugler's Alien container, the bottle itself. I think it's beautiful. I really do. The bottle itself reminds me of Terry Mugler's Alien fragrance. And this here is an EDP, and like I said, it's Midnight Blossom by Adrian Ventinini, and it's also a surprisingly amazing blind buy. And I'm bringing these to you right now because of the fact that they are gorgeous fragrances. I have no complaints with these fragrances. I was surprised. I picked them up. I brought them to my environment. And when I brought them, you know, like sometimes you bring things into your environment like, oh, well, God, why did I buy this? Oh, they lied to me. This does not smell nice. But all of these that I'm presenting to you today, honey, I am completely adored. I am adorned. I am adorned with how beautiful these fragrances are. Exquisitely amazing. And this one right here, let's see. Oh God, I always forget. Okay, the cap does come off. It comes off. Now let's try this. Let's try this. Oh God, I love it. I really do. I love this Adrian Ventinini because of the fact that the elements in this fragrance itself consist of some almonds. Yes, and you can smell the raspberries and the berries. You can smell, I don't think it's vanilla in here, even though it could be. Let's try a little bit more over here on this arm. It's very, very sweet. It's very soft, and it has a floral content applied to it as well. And I think the floral content in here consists of an exceptional amount of roses and daisies. There's all different types of flowers in here, which give it also, to some extent, an oud element. In other words, there may be a little bit of sandalwood in here as well, because it has a little earthy appeal to it. I can't tell you exactly what type of element I would put this in the category of, but I would definitely have to say it's earthy because it has that earthy aroma, but it isn't any bitterness applied to this. All gourmand. So I would have to say it's either some blackberries or raspberry mixed with a little bit of sandalwood and some almonds that give it that, I would say to some extent, a little musky aroma, but it's beautiful. And it smells just like the name itself, midnight. It smells like midnight because of the fact that it appears to be very romantic fragrance for midnight environment, occasion, a romantic atmosphere. It appears to be that to me. So midnight happens to be the appropriate name for it. And you know, a lot of people doesn't take into consideration that the names that a fragrance has grants it a classification for a specific reason. And that reason is because it's appropriate for it. In this particular case, Midnight Blossom is exactly the correct appropriation for this fragrance. It smells very midnight. It's beautiful. Adrian Ventinelli, I highly recommend Midnight Blossom to you. Okay, and I have another one here. This here is by Holston, and it's a very, I would say, classic fragrance. I don't care for this container at all, but this here was one of my mother's fragrance years, many years ago, and it's a lovely scent as well. This fragrance, let's spray it right here. It has a very unusual scent, and I must admit, I think it's a little bit too mature for me because of the fact that I might wear it sometime. I don't know where, but I might wear it. But this one has a very oud appearance to the fragrance. In other words, it's musky, it's woody, it's earthy, but yet it has a hint of amber that grants it a very incredible scent. It's so incredible to the point that it's distinguished and it's unique, but yet it's beautiful. I would definitely recommend this for my mother. Definitely, because I don't smell any purification with this particular fragrance. In other words, it's very strong and powerful and very enduring. In other words, you're going to attain an exceptional amount of longevity with this fragrance because it has a high level of maturity. So it would be very appropriate, I think, if I were to wear this particular fragrance. I think I would find this more appropriate to wear to a performance, some type of performance, but not indoors performance, an outdoors performance, so that it can exuberate itself on your body. Okay, moving right along, recommend Obsession by Holston to you as well, but not the container. Okay, well, I have one more that I am going to present to you, and this one here happens to be by my guy, Mr. Salvatore Ferragamo, and it's Emo Zion. And look at that more. This is a more modernized fragrance. I'm not going to say this is a classic. I would say this is very modern, but yet still it's a surprisingly amazing blind buy. And I purchased this without any indication, no tester, no scent, no anything. I fell in love with the container, and I decided I would acquire this particular fragrance because of the fact that it was beautiful to look at, and it was beautiful to set on my vanity, and it was beautiful to just, it was appealing. It was just appealing to me. From the container itself, so distinguished and so indifferent from anything else that I possess. So let's smell this juice. Uh-oh. I thought it was very loud, but it isn't. I thought it was very strong, but it isn't. It isn't strong at all. Let's try it right here. Shake it up a little bit. All the scents are coming together on me, and I see people, when they are testing their fragrance, they just spray one on top of the other, and one on top of the other, and one on top of the other. I couldn't tell you what was in anything if I did that. So I'm trying to find a spot right here. Oh, I should have used my tester strips. I have some too. Oh, I remember now. I like it. Oh my God, this is definitely revealing itself with definitely vanilla bean. It has vanilla bean in it, it has freesia in it, and it also has a note of some type of roses. I would say some pink roses, not red roses, but pink roses. Oh my God, and it's somewhat citric, but it's a lovely scent, but it's very light, very delicate, very aromatic, but yet and still it smells like spring. Everything in it is about exceptionally amount of floral, definitely. But it doesn't have any oud appearance to it at all, and I wouldn't say it's very earthy. But it has a little bit of bitterness to it, but yet and still it's very floral, but it's beautiful. Surprisingly beautiful blind buy. It falls into that category because I am really impressed with it. And it has, appears to be somewhat some type of berries in it, like raspberries or something, that gives it a little bit of a gourmand scent. However, it's exceptionally uplifting, and also it has a very sensual appeal toward it as well. I thank you so much for tuning into this segment of my surprisingly amazing blind buys. And I hope that you have discovered some unique classic fragrances that you can attain that are exceptionally affordable, but yet and still has such an amazingly lovely scent applied toward them as well. So I thank you very much, and remember to subscribe, and thank you again, and